Yeah. So just to refer real quick to the question from AJ earlier, I think what comes to mind is the potential deviation between a fund price and the net asset value, the NAV. So this is we sometimes see a deviation. I think this might happen in this case as well. But the market will then try to close those gaps. But that's just my thought about this challenge. But going back to Kima, so real quick, Kima is a new type of an interoperability protocol. It's a completely different architecture tackling the challenge of fragmentation in the financial space. So when we talk about interoperability, and when I speak to people in the crypto community, everyone thinks immediately about, okay, so you're a bridge, you're just moving funds between chains. But the problem of fragmentation and interoperability, it's a long word to say so many times a day, is really older than that. We see fragmentation in the financial space as a whole. If you ever try to move money between one country to the other, you know what I'm talking about in terms of two banks trying to work together. Now, if you add on top of that this nascent technology of blockchain and crypto and digital currencies, those are completely different asset classes held in a different system of records. Now, this is a huge problem. So it's not just an internal challenge within the blockchain space, it's something way bigger. And if we're talking about, onboarding AJ's fiance's grandfather to the crypto space and everyone else, then we really need to make transferring money as easy as possible because we're used to easy transfer of money. We can send money over Venmo, we can send money with a click of a button, and we have to make it as easy to move money around any type of ecosystem. And that's really the mission of Kima. So we built a blockchain that can settle transactions of money across any type of ecosystem. It can move money from a bank account directly into a non-custodial wallet. It can move various stable coins between chains. It can even move one fiat currency to another bank account and settling this transaction on chain. So this is really the revolutionary part because we come back to the basics, the roots of the need for a blockchain to remove the intermediaries. So it doesn't make sense that we will have peer-to-peer transfers of money within blockchain, the blockchain space, but not in the whole financial system. So that's really the mission, and this is what we're all about. And as you mentioned, Baz, earlier today, we had actually a dual launch. One is the token that started trading on multiple exchanges, and the launch of the mainnet. So we're live. The blockchain is in production. It's available for developers. So it's a big day for us.
Amazing. I love to hear that. And best of luck on the TGE and everything moving forward. I even just see, just from a quick overview of your X page, that you've partnered with some industry leaders like FinSec from MasterCard and Chain GPT. How have these partnerships influenced your journey so far?
Yeah, so when you're just starting, when you're a small startup, you need to get as much help as you can. So ChainGPT is really has been really helpful in several aspects. We were incubated in their incubator. We used their launchpad to launch the token in the IDO. FinSec Labs is a different type of a partnership. FinSec Labs is an entity, a company fully owned by MasterCard. Their role is to scout for promising technologies that have strategic meaning for the MasterCard strategy. So they mostly go after cybersecurity companies and recently also companies in the digital currency space. And they ended up investing in us, and they've been really helpful in two areas. One is working with us. They even ran a validator node for a testnet, made introductions within MasterCard, and also introductions with other companies within their ecosystem. One notable example is a POC that we recently did with a MasterCard issuer. What we did there was to connect these two disparate ecosystems that I mentioned earlier. One was the MasterCard network, and the other was people with non-custodial wallets holding stablecoins. So through Kima, people managed to top up their MasterCard prepaid cards with stablecoins in a click of a button. So they can hold stablecoins in their MetaMask wallet, click a button, and go shopping in their local grocery store with a MasterCard card. So that's one example of a real-life use case that we've been involved in lately.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a next level integration into real world finance that I haven't actually heard before, where there's sort of just like a direct integration with your credit card to be able to just almost, it's almost like approving a transaction, so to speak, like giving your MasterCard permission to kind of draw on your stable coins. That's quite interesting. But you mentioned at the top of the show that like you have had a long career, not only outside of Web3 but in Web3 as well, and that Kima was one of the most ambitious projects that you've been working on, and clearly it's a huge milestone today. But what's next on the roadmap for Kima Finance, and what are you guys working on moving forward?
Yeah, so we have a packed backlog, to be honest. One thing that is really huge that is coming is, which I implied earlier, is the connection of bank accounts to the Kima network. So right now we will support 9 chains, including Bitcoin, by the way. It was natively supporting Bitcoin to enable transfer of funds across the chains that we support. And since we have a unique architecture that doesn't use smart contracts, we can completely agnostic to the asset classes. So we have no dependency on the technological stack. And bank account is just one example. So we're adding support for bank APIs. So a transaction can be settled also when it's connected to a bank account. So that's coming early next year, which will make Kima the first and I believe the only blockchain that will be able to settle fiat transactions or do on-ramp and off-ramp transactions without an exchange or intermediary. So that's really a new concept that we're bringing. Another thing, and that is directly related to the discussion earlier, we talked a lot about real-world assets. And we mostly talked here on the panel about the issuance of the assets. We're tackling the next step. So once the assets are being issued, we also want to enable the swap of the assets. So we're building a new type of a transaction, a DVP transaction. It's a fancy term used by the financial world to just name a simple swap between two people that agree on the terms, and now they need to swap their assets. One has the payment, the other has the tokenized asset, and they want to swap them. So this is a problem that is as old as humanity. And the solution so far was to have an escrow, some third party that is trusted, and it can hold the payment and the funds. What we're going to introduce early next year is a peer-to-peer swap, which is atomic, fully guaranteed to work, and the escrow is Kima, basically. The blockchain itself is a decentralized escrow that accepts the payment, accepts the asset, and it will only complete the swap if the conditions are met. And that happens in one atomic step, fully guaranteed using the cryptographic algorithms. So that's coming as well, and we're already speaking with various banks, financial institutions, even governments about that use case.
All right. Wow. That's definitely a lot to unpack there. It sounds like you guys certainly have had the ball rolling, and I'm certainly interested in learning more about this project. I do want to say to anyone listening to the show to definitely go give Kima a follow. I believe it's at Kima Network right here on the space. So definitely go help them out. Already at 624.4 thousand followers, definitely made a lot of progress there. So definitely pat on your back. Good job. And definitely everybody listening, go give them a follow to continue that. So, I have a couple questions, but I think the first one that kind of really yells at me is like, what have been like your biggest challenges in like, or like roadblocks, obstacles in the way, like while building and like scaling out this project?
Yeah. So doing building a startup is really a roller coaster, and so many challenges. I think the number one challenge has always been talent. So we're building a blockchain. It's not just creating a smart contracts or an application. We're building something that is deeper and more at the infrastructure level. That requires some expertise in building blockchains, in building backend systems, cryptography. So it's I can tell you it's not an easy task to find talent, and this is why at the get-go we decided to be a global team. We are 100% remote, like many other projects like that, and that helps us to really build a team that is wherever there's a talent that we need, we will grab it regardless of where this person lives. So talent is definitely has been a big challenge, and I'm proud and glad to say that we've built a wonderful, really exceptional team that is capable of tackling the technological challenges that we're solving. The other thing is, I would say, related to the progress of this industry as a whole. So we're talking a lot about the institutions that are coming. So we see a lot of success among the early adopters in the Web3 space. But whenever you are going to speak with banks and financial institutions, that requires a completely different cadence. It's a different pace. And I've been selling to banks in the past. Those are very long selling cycles. Sometimes as a startup, you really want to move fast. You want to progress, and then you have to go through these long cycles. So that is definitely, with all the excitement that we see in institutions, at the end of the day, when they have to pick the infrastructure, the tools and solutions that they are going to use. So this is obviously something that they will do very, very cautiously. So I think that is something that we anticipated, and again, we brought in the team that's their expertise in going through these long sales cycles. But whoever in the audience is thinking about building something for banks, just know that it requires a lot of patience building products that really fit the long list of needs that these institutions have.
Appreciate that, Eitan. And just as we're wrapping up here at the top of the hour, I do want to make a call to the audience just so that they make sure where to find Kima Network. So on X or Twitter, it's at Kima Network. Kima is Kima and then network. But as we're wrapping up, any final thoughts or calls to action for the viewers?
Yes, definitely. So we're whatever we do with our very vibrant and lively community. So the call to action is really join us to this journey. The community can participate in multiple ways. One way is to help us secure the network by delegating and staking the token to the validators. That really mathematically helps secure the network. So join the community, be part of the active community, the delegators that are really part of this ecosystem. The other call to action is to the builders in the audience. So please join us. You can just try out Kima. It's a very easy, very quick integration. And you don't have to deploy any smart contract. It's an API call to move money. That's it. We make it as easy as possible for developers. So join the developers community. Help us with requirements, with ideas, with sharing your needs. And we're very, very anxious to listen to our developers community.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all the speakers for joining as well. Peter, Scott, CMP, didn't forget you guys either, and of course Kima Finance and Eitan for joining us. And Eitan again is the CEO of Kima Finance, and their X handle is